Well, combination of Aaron's three-point play was a very big play. Got us a lead back. And then, up to that point, we had been getting shots that we liked. We just were not attacking the paint, and they were huge, and they had 2 7-footers in there, and it was just very difficult. And so we had to figure out a way to get a few more stops, loosen up the game, get downhill. And then, we started to focus in and knock some threes down, and that was huge.
Within that stretch, they went 5 minutes without scoring. What about your defense in that stretch impressed you?
Well, we were concentrating very hard, and our guys were down in the stance, and we were in zone a lot of the time. We haven't played that much zone, but some nights you got to use it to change things up. I mean, one-on-one and on the boards, they were really hurting us badly, and so we went to the zone quite a bit. I don't know how many times. It had to be at least 15 or 20. And then you get them to miss. And then the next problem is trying to get the ball out of the air. And, they had 24 offensive rebounds, but that's what they do. I looked at their stats leading into the game. It's the biggest number I've ever seen. 63 in wins and 58 in losses, total rebounds. I mean, nobody's getting 63 rebounds a game. It's just ridiculous. And so, we talked about it. We did a lot of rebounding stuff in our prep before the game. And yet, they're so big and so athletic. There's at times only so much you can do. But we hung in there. Myles Turner was phenomenal in the last 6 minutes of the game. He controlled the rim area. Sengun as an unconventional way of playing, and he uses his body well, but Myles adjusted as the game went on. The stats say 5 block shots. I mean, I would bet a lot of whatever you want to bet that there's more than 5 block shots there. I mean, probably at least 7, but we're looking into that. So,
what impressed you about how Tyrese handled just basically the way they threw defense at him? Obviously, he shot the ball really well in the second quarter. It seemed like in the third and the fourth, the Rockets were trying to do everything they could just to not let him shoot. But obviously, he was able to get a lot of assists and then eventually find some aggression getting downhill. I mean, how did you think he just played every piece of this game?
Tyrese was great. He's learned how to adjust to all the different defenses. Tonight, it's big physical guys. Other nights, it's guys that are just denying him all, 94 feet. Other nights it's double teams. Other nights it's just, physical play, teams taking liberties and stuff like that. But he's adjusted to everything and has a great feel for, when he's got it going to, keep the run going and when to get other guys involved. And so, the balance has been great. It's one reason that his turnovers have been very low, as a general rule. And tonight, defensively, he really battled on the inside and came up with some big rebounds at big times.
You mentioned Aaron's shot, and obviously he gets 16 tonight. Obviously, some big shots, more of the read in the game than you saw. Just what did you like from him on both ends? Obviously, you've got strong performances from him so far since the break. Yeah,
he's stacking. Really strong performances on top of each other. The one against Chicago was huge. And then tonight, and, there were stretches where he had good looks that weren't going down, and we just kept telling him, hey, stay with the process. Those are great shots, and eventually, he hit some of them. And so, we need him to be him, and that is, a tough-nosed defender, a guy that runs and moves well offensively, who crashes, within our system. And when there are gaps and openings and they close on them, to drive the ball and make the simple play.
How did you think Thomas Bryant did in that first quarter when Myles got into foul trouble and he had to come in there and play heavy minutes?
I thought he was going to set a scoring record at one point. He had 10 points just like that. And I think he hit a couple of threes and had a couple of – look, that's a tough position to put a guy that's playing with a second unit in. Myles had 2 fouls in the first 2.5 minutes, and then, Thomas has got to guard Sengun, head up. We weren't doing any double teaming. We went a couple times, but guys were just trying to get in there and help. But I thought he navigated the ups and downs of the game well. He's really a passionate guy, and at times, channeling that is a thing that he's working on. And I thought tonight he did a great job because Houston, they're hard to play. I mean, they do things to the game that nobody else does. Putting 2 7-footers and 3 massive wings out there and just shooting it and running after it. I mean, and it was mayhem out there. But everybody kept their wits about them. The key to the game probably was coming up with a lot of loose balls in the last 6 minutes that turned into opportunities down the floor. And look, even though half their team didn't play last night, they did travel. And I thought, it was a situation where we had to keep the game moving faster. And for the most part, we did.
You're doing stretch.
That's why I love this game, man. It's a mental battle. I think some frustrating things happen, throughout the first half and a little in the second half. But that's what makes it greater players in this league, just the ability just to put that stuff behind you and keep going. So just a testament just to, a lot of mental training and just continue to push forward.
How much did that one play, I think 6 Rockets layups, none of them go in, you were amped after it. How much did that get you going in that stretch too?
Yeah, definitely got my adrenaline going for sure. I think just it's tough to, sit on the bench for so long and have to jump back out there in a close game. So that was a perfect play for me, got me going, and just just keep doing what I do best.
You've talked about you specifically, but you guys only gave up 6 points in the last 9 minutes of this game. What did you guys change in that end to really get going and close them out there?
The zone definitely helped us a bit. I think you can't always rely on the zone to save you, but we put a lot of work in on it, and I think it's something that was a big tool for us tonight.
To keep going on that, what did you like about it? What do you think it did well for you guys? What do you think you guys did well within it?
It slows down the other team's offense. When most of the times you have set plays to run against man or get guys going, and you take away the paint, force them to shoot outside shots. The hardest part about zone is rebounding, and that's something that they were good at. They went big in that third quarter, I think it was, and it was tough for us to fight, but that's all it was. Just got to keep scrapping and keep fighting.
You just mentioned obviously having to sit out a lot of the first with the foul trouble. What's most important in those periods when you have to watch in those situations when you get in foul trouble? Like, what do you have to kind of keep yourself, going through your head mentally, I guess, to make sure you're still locked in the same way you want to be the next time you get
there's a million thoughts going through your head. The first thing is you're frustrated with the foul call. You don't think it's a foul. Then you see the lead dwindling a little bit, and know that you can be out there helping, and then body gets tight a little bit. You don't get the same, you don't get as loose as you'd like to get. So, it's a mental battle. So, keep yourself engaged. I do a lot of meditation, even on the bench. I'll close my eyes sometimes, just breathe. Sometimes I get up and go the elliptical, get my body going. But I think it's just you have to just keep yourself engaged in the game. It's not something I learned overnight. It's something I definitely had to put in a lot of work into.
You guys obviously go into this knowing, kind of who they are, how tough they are, how gritty they are, their rebounding and everything like that. They end up winning the boards 58-35, but it seemed like you guys were going after every single loose ball. How much did you guys have a sense going into this that that's what this game is going to be about, and you just have to stay as close to that as you can?
Yeah,
what do you think
we knew they were going to junk up the game a little bit. I knew that they have different lineups, so put different guys. They'll put like their big men on their guards and bigs. They do those type of bastardized lineups and whatnot. So we knew what we were heading into, but it wasn't a matter of getting caught up into that. It was just, like you said, the hard play, and in the day making more shots than the other team.
Obviously, Tyrese has still been on just a bender since the break. What's impressed you about him in general, but what impressed you about him particularly tonight when it just seemed like after he kind of goes off in the second quarter, it seemed like they devoted everything to making it hard for him to score. How did you see him just sort of evolve into how he handled each quarter in terms of how he was guarded? There
isn't much he hasn't seen at this point. I think that he does a great job at dissecting these defenses and whatnot. I think that he's in a great flow state right now. I think he's very defiant. He's very vocal too. That's one thing that's helping us. He's just one thing I told him before the break was like, help me, help you. You know what I mean? He's doing a great job of doing that. He's telling me exactly what he needs, and obviously our synergy has grown a lot, and we're just playing well off each other.
Myles, you guys held them to 102 tonight. Defense has really been great, it seems, lately. What is working for you guys on D right now?
Chemistry. Chemistry is a big thing. I think when you got, we got some dogs out there, obviously, with Aaron Neesmith and, Andrew Nimhard, guarding the best players. And even someone like Pascal, he's picking up guys full court. It's uncharacteristic stuff. But I think our chemistry has really grown as a whole, and like even Tyrese, man, he's competing. You know, we joke around about him not being able to defend this and that, but like when he actually locks in, you know, he's long, he's athletic, you know, he has the tools and tangibles to defend. So I think he's doing an incredible job there too. But yeah, man, he's got a roster, you know, full of guys that compete.
I thought offensively we did a better job of attacking. You know, when you see zone, it's easy to get stagnant and just shoot jumpers. And I thought we got some good looks, but if they're not going in, then you got to kind of figure something else out. And I don't think it's necessarily – still don't think we did a great job offensively with it. What I think we did a great job with was getting stops, and Myles was taking care of the paint, doing a great job of not fouling, protecting the paint, and, you know, rebounding, outletting. We were getting play in transition a little bit more, get some better looks. But they did some different things that we – you know, probably as players didn't expect to see. You know, they went to the 2 big lineup and played a lot of zone. This isn't a team that zones really at all, you know, so that was a little different for us. But we just had to find a way to adjust and just made enough plays, you know, at the right time, and, you know, that's what helped.
With that zone, you guys were good against it in the first half, felt like, then not so good early in the second half. Did they change anything? Was it just missing shots? What was the wave of?
I think missing shots. I think, like I said, like when you play against a team and they go zone, it's easy to get stagnant and just shoot jumpers, you know, especially the way we attack it, you know, swing. You get some open looks now against the zone, especially in the corners. And we just missed a couple. I mean, Double A got a lot of those looks, 1 for 6. I mean, you know, P was over 5. Like we didn't shoot. I mean, never mind, we shot 40% from 3, but I feel like there was a lot of room to shoot. Like we got all good looks, you know. So, you know, got the utmost confidence in guys that just keep shooting. We just told everybody to keep shooting. Double A, you know, ended up hitting a big one late there. You know, everybody's got to keep shooting the ball against zone. But, you know, I think the other counter to it is attacking, getting to the middle, and getting to the rim. And I thought we did a better job of just figuring out a way to adjust.
Was there ever a point in this season, pre-All-Star break, where you felt the way you did in any of these last 8 games or even the first half today?
I don't know. I really don't know. I erased the first 15 games from my memory. So, I mean, I'm trying to think. I'll get back to you. But I don't know. I'm just in a zone right now. I think I'm just trying to play the right way. You know, just trying to make the right plays and just stay aggressive, understanding that when I'm aggressive, we're at our best. So, you know, I didn't want to peak too early. You know, I'm trying to get to peak time by around April, May, hopefully June. That's the time for me to peak.
Did you enjoy hearing your own Kelly Clarkson rendition during the game?
No. Nah. Well, I usually shoot, you know, before we do our team meeting, so I know everything that's going to be played in the, you know, in the arena for the most part. And I heard it while I was shooting, and I was like, damn, they're really going to play this? So I was I enjoyed it.
You played that up well anyway.
Yeah.
When they got the camera on you,
Yeah.
played so well. Just because you mentioned that, like the first month. I mean, I remember just toward the end of that, you saying, you know, I'm going to look back at this time and laugh when it's over. At a certain point, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to be able to laugh at this. Are you there yet?
No.
Or do you not think about it at all?
Nah, we still got a lot of hoops to play. I think around All-Star break, I think it was a good time for me to reflect on how the year's been for me. Just see where I can be better. I have a lot of games this year where I'm not proud of at all. It's some of these teams, like we played Houston today, we're not, getting ready for this game, watching their last couple games, but then we watch our last time playing them, like it doesn't even look like me on the floor, so it's hard to evaluate stuff like that. But, I think the time for me to really sit back and laugh on that is hopefully when Starting Five comes out season 2, and I can, there's some ugly moments in there, just frustration and self-reflection, and so that's when I'll really look back on it. But I'm just living in the moment right now. I'm not really worried about where I was in the past, just how I can be better, for us moving forward, and how I can keep helping us win games.
Obviously, it seemed like they changed a lot in terms of how they handled you in the second half. Basically, after you kind of went off in the second quarter, it seemed like they really, blitzed every ball screen, were trapping you when they were in zone. How do you feel like you handled what they did? Obviously, I think 9 assists in the second half. It seemed like you were able to kind of find the open guy when you were seeing two bodies. I mean, just what did you like about how you handled sort of each piece of what they were trying to do to you, and kind of stayed aggressive even within that?
Yeah, well, I just feel like it's the game within the game, Every game I enjoy, the challenge and the kind of the chess match with opposing players and opposing coaches, and that's what I really love about the game of basketball. Not to get too nerdy, but coming down and I didn't know how they were going to match up because Ime is really interesting, a really genius defensive mind. So coming to the game, I was prepared for them to put Sengun on somebody else, maybe Andrew, or how they were going to match up. And so I was just trying to find the right ways to make plays, and I felt like I really got myself going there in the first half. And towards the end of that first half, second half, I could really start to feel like a blitz was coming. So I just tried to make the right play as many times as I could. As part of the beautiful part of our game is, now they are blitzing. Now I get to do what I really like to do is, pass the ball and make reads and, just trying to, have fun with it. And, that's really the game within the game. So I'm just enjoying, every game's a little bit different. The defenders that I see are a little bit different. Some games they might play, teams might switch 1 through 5. Some teams might blitz with the 5. Some teams might be in a heavy drop, might be at the level. Every team poses a little different, and so I just got to be prepared for whatever that is.
So obviously saw Drew was in the building, sitting next to your dad there. I mean, what's I don't want to say how does it change your mindset or something like that, but I mean obviously he's the guy that calls you and gives you critiques on whatever it is that you do, and he's standing there. What's kind of in your mind? Are there things that are more at the forefront there that it's like, okay, if I mess this up, I'm gonna hear this right now.
Yeah. The problem with when Drew is here is that he then gets in my family's ear, so like my mom and my dad just usually let me hoop, and a lot of times when he's not here, he'll text Jade during the game, tell Tyrese to shoot the ball, and Jade will be like, shoot, and I know that means Drew texted her. The problem when he does come is now everybody chips in on what he's saying, and so that's just, that's who he is, and that's why I work with him is just, how much he's on me and how much he, expects of me. And, we did a little mini session before the game today. We did film session last night. So I always enjoy, when he's at the game because, I feel like I have, I get live reaction to everything that's going on right there in front of me. So I always appreciate when, when he's at the game. And, typically he'll text me before every game, look at the orange thing, the hoop. And so now, like when he's courtside, he'll like hold it up on his phone, just orange thing. So the reminder's always there when he's here.